1st December, 5th December, the two-phase polls taking place in Gujarat, counting to be held along with Himachal on 8th December. Let's open up this conversation now. We have a panel of guests joining us. Alok Mehta, Editorial Director, India News; Himanshu Bhatt, Political Analyst; Sandeep Chatra, Political Analyst, I beg your pardon; Joyita Basu, Editor, The Sunday Guardian; and Archana Agnihotri of the BJP also joining us. Alok Mehta, let me start with you first. Alok ji, poll dates have been announced. In the press conference, what is to be noted, the EC was questioned on the delay in announcements, and they gave a very technical answer. They said it was a procedural matter. Your thoughts on the same, and then we discuss.
I think he replied very well, because it's not necessary that when they announce, Election Commission take number of steps, and that's why certainly is a political issue, because one can say why early or why is it delayed, but I think there is enough time for them as a schedule, and that's why it was satisfactory. But to provoke, I think the Congress party and other parties, normally the political parties, they have their agenda, the allegation against the Election Commission. You see, in last 10 years, more allegations by the political parties. When they win, they accept the verdict. But when they lost election or they have some problems, then they say, okay, Election Commission is biased. So I think our election is a very fair, and that's why one should not object, because it creates a problem for the masses, for the voters. They feel confused, and I think political parties should also help, at least for such small issues.
All right. Himanshu Bhatt is also joining us. Mr. Bhatt, you're in Gujarat. And do you think the Morbi tragedy will have an impact on these polls, the two-phase polls which have been announced by the EC just now?
Right. But if the government has taken the right steps and they act in catching the culprits, I'm making it very, very sure. The real culprits, if they are caught, the effect will be nullified. It will have, when such a tragedy happens of this proportion in any state and which is the poll bound, it is going to have an effect in the minds, especially in that particular region, a particular part of Saurashtra where people are really agitated. They don't want to see this hogwash of, petty people being arrested and named in FIR, not the real ones, and, caught and detained and whatnot. But now, with the election being announced, the things will become surcharged. And up till now, let me tell you one thing. Up till now, since its inception, that is from 1960 onwards when Gujarat was formed, Gujarat elections have been really very, very peaceful when compared to some other states. And that Election Commission will vouch for it. But this time around, I do foresee certain disturbing trends which will come out in Gujarat in sporadic incidents. And things cannot be ruled out that, Election Commission will have a tough time in managing them. It is going to happen. In certain parts of Gujarat, small little pockets where you have the presence of 3-4 parties there, which has not been the case in Gujarat. Gujarat has been bipolar, basically. 2 parties have been ruling, and 2 parties in contention, and things were very peaceful. People used to enjoy this polling process and results. They used to take it like a week off and enjoyment time. But now this time, I foresee, that there will be certain places, there will be really sporadic incidents. Sorry to say.
Right. Joyita Basu, what do you see as the key issues in these upcoming polls? Do you see this tragedy playing a role? What do you think will drive the voters this time?
Well, I'm certain there's a lot of anti-incumbency in Gujarat against BJP because it has been there for a very long time. And from whatever ground, in fact, I was in Gujarat for the 2017 election, and that election was a very close election. In fact, the minute I landed in Ahmedabad, I was told it's a 50-50 situation in Gujarat, and it was Mr. Modi's presence that actually brought BJP the victory at that time. Even then, BJP didn't cross 100, it stopped at 99. But this time, I think what has happened is AAP's entry is a factor that may impact the vote, in the sense that I personally believe that Gujarat is still a bipolar election, and AAP is going to play a spoil sport, I think, for Congress in certain seats. Because you see what happened in the last elections, if I remember correctly, there were certain seats that were decided by a margin of 300, 400 votes. It was a very, very close election. So you see, these are the seats that AAP is going to play a spoil sport. As a force, I don't think AAP exists in Gujarat. I don't think it goes beyond a few wards. In fact, I'll be very surprised even if it wins 2-3 seats. I'll be very surprised, because I don't think AAP has it in it to win anything in Gujarat yet. But yes, it is definitely going to act as a spoil sport. But at the same time, here again, Mr. Modi, the Modi factor is going to play a major role, because I have seen the last time and I had gone there at the time when the Patidar agitation was going on, and all the Patidars were against BJP. So when I was asking them, so but what about Mr. Modi, and considering the Lok Sabha elections were coming up, they were like, okay, we will not vote for the BJP in the state assembly, but obviously everyone will vote for Mr. Modi in 2019. So if that was the response at the height of anti-incumbency, so I think that will play a role even this time, and that is why I think the Prime Minister is so frequently visiting Gujarat. He is putting he's giving so much attention to Gujarat, because if you ask me, the factor that is going to help the BJP in Gujarat is Mr. Modi, nothing else.
Right. All right. Ms. Agnihotri, how do you see this? Because anti-incumbency is a factor. There's the recent Morbi tragedy which took place. Do you think these things will play a spoil sport for the BJP? Archana Agnihotri, is she on the broadcast with us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go on, please.
I have network problem, so voice is little bleak. So can you be little loud? I request.
Will anti-incumbency be a factor for the BJP this time?
No, there is no anti-incumbency, because continuously BJP is working on the ground, and people elect a person who works for them, and that's what BJP is doing. So BJP is going to win, and Joyita ma'am said it very clearly, and that is rightly the government, because they are on the ground. Even if there is crisis, they do not turn their back.
Right.
They are fit.
We seem to be having severe audio video connectivity issues with you. We can't hear you or see you very clearly, ma'am. Request you to join back on the broadcast with us. But Sandeep Chandra, how do you see the AAP factor playing into these polls? Do you think they can have a dampening effect for the BJP, or do you think they're no factor at all?
Well, I would like, good morning to you, and it's a pleasure and privilege to be part of your iconic channel. I will dive into your question. It's a very important question. You see, there is no anti-incumbency for Bharatiya Janata Party, for the simple reason that they have the biggest vote catcher, and only one factor is going to play out, that is Mr. Modi. People have seen through Mr. Kejriwal's hypocritical acts. In Delhi, he plays the Muslim card, and in Gujarat, he is playing Lord Ganesha and Lakshmi Ji's card, which people have seen through. And also, it is, you see, a shame on the opposition that they are trying to milk this very horrific tragedy. Nobody is responsible but the people, the promoters and the owners of this bridge. The second factor is this, that this time BJP, I am putting my neck out and I'm giving you a prediction. This time BJP will break all records as far as getting the number of seats. According to my calculation, and I know Gujarat like the back of my hand, it is going to be nothing less than 125 seats. There is no anti-incumbency. People of Gujarat are very aware. They have voted in BJP day in and day out in all the elections for the last 27 years. And I would like to say one thing more, and that is that you see it is high time that an immediate urgent cabinet meeting is called after the elections. And on 26 January, our most respected Prime Minister is conferred the highest civilian award, that is the Bharat Ratna. I have started a personal campaign because this is a country has never seen such a hardworking, transparent, honest, development-oriented Prime Minister. Today, the world over, whether it is President Biden, whether it is the French President Emmanuel Macron.
That's an entirely different conversation. We can have that at another time. But Himanshu Bhatt, do you agree? Because you stay in Gujarat, you've been speaking to people, you've been covering the elections for so many years. Do you agree with this assessment? There's no anti-incumbency because it's Modi which is the pull factor for the voters.
Yes, Modi is a factor, and Modi is the single biggest factor. But let me give you some, bad facts and figures. 2017, when BJP got 99 seats out of 182, they got 49.05% of total popular vote. Congress got 77 seats with 41.44% of popular votes. They were two predominant parties. Now today, when we are going to the elections in 5 years' time, BJP's strength has increased from 99 to 111. Congress has decreased that much. This is what the situation is. Another fact that I will tell you, BJP, despite Mr. Modi, has never crossed more than 50% votes in Gujarat in any of the polls. The highest number of seats that BJP got was 127 in 2002. These are the bad facts. This vote has never decreased from 30% in the state of Gujarat.
Right.
Now, when we talk of 2017 Congress was able to do very, very good, or put up a very good performance. That was because Patidar Anamat Andolan Samiti. We on the ground know that basically it was Hardik Patel and company, which resulted into 15 to 17 seats in the state of Gujarat.
Right.
That was Congress's kitty. Now, some of them out of that came out again, went to BJP, and they became 111. Now, today's BJP strength is 111 today in the House. So, the local factors do work. And this time around, when with the entry of AAP, as Jyota ji said, what is going to happen is AAP is going to play a biggest spoil sports for Congress and increase BJP's tally. Because there were certain seats, there were more than 27 seats.
Okay, so I will pick your brain a little bit. Which regions, which are the areas where AAP can play a spoil sport, as per you?
AAP has a sporadic presence in some cities, and what will happen is, in a city where a seat is decided by 10,000
I'd like
or
to come in here,
50,000
please.
votes.
Yeah, I'll come to you. Let him finish. Yeah,
So what happens is, an AAP candidate comes in. That is the third force comes in, and that musters some votes. So those votes are equally generally divided between the two parties.
Okay. All right. Quick response from Sandeep Chandra, and then we come back to you, sir.
Yeah.
Sandeep Chandra.
You see, Aam Aadmi Party has got some presence in certain metro towns. Basically, elections, you would very well know, any politician will know, are won and lost because of booth management. There is virtually no booth management as far as Aam Aadmi Party is concerned. That is why Mr. Arvind Kejriwal has brought Bhagwant Mann from Punjab, and he's taking him around as a showpiece. People of Gujarat know that their development lies by voting BJP in great numbers. They are very happy. Today, Gujarat has become a hub for international investments. There is peaceful environment. Minorities have understood that their welfare lies by voting for Mr. Modi and the BJP. And again, I'm reiterating that I would be very surprised if Aam Aadmi Party crosses 3 seats. We will, again discuss after the elections. Aam Aadmi Party, I will also not be surprised if it fails to pick up even one seat.
Okay, now what I'm saying is, AAP, while playing the spoilsport, may not win more than 5 seats from the entire state. But what will happen is, it will get about 15 to 18% of the popular vote. Now, this popular vote will come from where? It will come from the ruling party and opposition. So when that happens, in a tri-corner contest.
Okay, so this is an
happens?
interesting point, Mr. Bhatt.
It's a very interesting analogy.
Right. Alok
AAP does not
Mehta.
have a presence.
Okay.
It is very sporadic.
Alok Mehta, 2 questions to you, sir. Do you agree with this assessment that AAP will get a part or a share of the popular votes, a chunk of the popular votes? If yes, is it the opposition's votes, Congress, which is virtually missing in the state of Gujarat, or is it from the share of the BJP? Your assessment.
Well, the first thing, you can't say the Congress is missing. Last time also they had the 77 seats. And I feel still in the rural area or in the tribal area, Congress had at least their presence. And earlier they were also ruling from those areas. So still there will be a challenge in the rural area. But I agree totally with our other guests that BJP is going to win, Modi is the major factor. But you see in the election, in 200 votes and 500 votes also, even the one vote also give result in a different way. So sometime it affect for the Congress party, Aam Aadmi party, and he is very right, our friend just mentioned about it. In metro cities or big cities like Surat or in Ahmedabad, not even Ahmedabad, but maybe in Baroda and some big cities, there's just some few people who are not very happy with the BJP or the Congress, and for experiment, because they just want change, some change should be there. But otherwise, the factor is economic factor, and then the women and business. Business affected in the COVID period, earlier also because of the note bandi and all. So business class, some extent, they are unhappy. I know. I traveled recently there in Gujarat. But for voting, they go for, because they think that there is only alternative for the good economy, for the development of the Gujarat, they have to vote the BJP. But certainly depend on the candidate also. You see, the administration, they have changed the chief minister. But that's why everybody talk about we will go vote for Modi, not for Bhupendra Patel. Because a new person, image is good, but the incident like Morbi and all, this kind of incident are the administration and the local MLAs, how they will, today or tomorrow, there will be meeting of the parliamentary board or the election committee of the BJP. They will decide, and certainly in like Himachal Pradesh, there will be few dissidents who will just go from one side to other side. So depend on the candidate also. If candidate also work very well in a different constituency, because all the time, Mr. Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister, and Mr. Amit Shah, the Home Minister also, both always emphasize that you should work in the every corner, every mohalla. That's why they have this kind of system, the Panna Pramukh. And I have been told that there will be no new, apart from Panna Pramukh, one more person will be there to monitor in some areas. Yes. So it is going to help BJP, because Aam Aadmi Party has no network, no worker in the booth level. They have just money, maybe from even from India or outside India, because NRI is also there. Maybe somebody always help the Aam Aadmi Party, or even the Congress. I still know Congress also have a good money power from out of country. Some NRIs, big NRIs used to help the Congress earlier days. So if they think, okay, there will be some kind of change or some pressure will be there for more votes for the Congress party, they will get more, they will spend more. But there is no leader at present. The problem is, in BJP, one can say Amit Shah ji is there, Bhupendra Patel is there, number of other leaders are there. They can say, okay, for Gujarat, there will be no lack of leadership. But in Congress party, there are already infighting, top level. With all respect, Mr. Kharge, what happened? He was also in charge of Punjab. He was in charge of Rajasthan. Every day, again, he started in Sachin Pilot is speaking something and Gehlot is speaking something.
May I come in?
And Gehlot is in charge of the Gujarat.
Okay.
You see, the funny part is
All right,
they are fighting in how they will control the Gujarat.
Okay, Congress, because Joyita Basu, it is the curious case of Congress in Gujarat because they seem to be completely missing. Alok Mehta ji would disagree with me. He says that they're still present in certain pockets of rural Gujarat and tribal belts, etc. Rahul Gandhi has not been there. He's somewhere in Andhra Pradesh. We've not seen any big Congress rallies. Last time we saw Hardik Patel get a lot of votes for them. Today we are learning that they are in fact launching a yatra, a statewide yatra in Gujarat. So your assessment of Congress and why they've been so disturbingly missing, I would say, from this election.
Gauri, if you look at Congress, in 2017, they actually had a chance. They had a real chance. But this time, what has happened soon after that, you see, 5 years is a long time in politics. And so what has happened in this time, a lot of, I would say senior Congress people have defected to the BJP. They have been very successfully, BJP has very successfully managed to do it, but that does not mean that the voter always votes in favor of the defector. They often tend to defeat the defector. No, but at the same time, you see, it's a question of also, you see, after all, in spite of the unhappiness that is there, voters in Gujarat in particular, in fact, I would say Gujarat, it's the case even in, say, nowadays in UP and say Rajasthan and where, they all think in terms of who will come to power at the center after the next elections. And Gujarat, inside 1.5 years, will be the general elections. Now, right now, it seems like the BJP is coming back to power. So I don't think Gujarat right now at this point of time would like to derail that train.
Right.
You know what you're talking about, that is double engine sarkar. Now, you see, the problem with Congress in Gujarat is the same, the problem that Congress has in every state. They have not allowed any local leader to grow. There have been certain grassroots leaders who are seniors, but what has happened is that the Congress has not allowed them to grow because of the Rahul Gandhi factor and all. And we all know what has happened in these last few years. The situation is such that the Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Jodo Yatra is not even going anywhere near Gujarat.
All right. So, Himanshu Bhatt, all right. Himanshu Bhatt, do you think the same problem exists with the BJP also in Gujarat, where they've not groomed younger leaders in the state? We've seen that with the changes in chief ministers, a lack of any presence besides Mr. Modi and Amit Shah. Do you think that's the case with the BJP as well in Gujarat?
No, I don't think so. Today, you see the Home Minister of the state is not even 40. He's a young boy. He's not even 40, ma'am.
Right.
And mind you one thing, when we were talking, when people were discussing about this rural and urban seat, let me tell you one thing. Out of 182 seats, today 55% of seats are still rural. And mind you, in this rural seats, either BJP or Congress, AAP has absolutely no presence. Yes, 45% is urban or semi-urban, as they call it, urban. So that is where this AAP is going to play a spoil sports, in certain places. Whereas, they'll cut off opposition votes. What will happen is, Partidar Anamat Andolan Samiti, I'll give you one example. Those who were very active in 2017 and government had put them behind bars, these two Partidar Anamat Andolan Samiti netas, leaders from Surat, Alpesh Kathiria is one name and Dharmik Palavia is another name. They have just joined up. Now, if suppose that Alpesh Kathiria is just a name I'm giving you, if that one of them stands on a seat in Surat, which has had, minimum margins between the two parties, what will happen is that guy, on a popular perception, will win 10 to 15% votes on a ground reality. Now, this 10 to 15% votes are basically of opposition votes. Last time that went to Congress, majority of those votes, they will go back to this fellow again. And what will happen is the BJP, with its 40, 45, 47, 48, 49% votes, will win the seat. And this is what is the exact situation in urban and urban areas of Gujarat.
Right. Jigar Devani also joins us. He covers Gujarat for us. He's a part of ITV Gujarat. जिगर, क्या सिचुएशन है ग्राउंड पर? बीजेपी की क्या कैंपेन्स प्लान हैं? कांग्रेस का क्या प्लान है? एक यात्रा वो लोग अभी लॉन्च कर रहे हैं. आम आदमी पार्टी का क्या प्लान है? व्हाट्स द सिचुएशन, व्हाट्स द कैंपेनिंग लुकिंग लाइक गोइंग अहेड?
बिल्कुल, देखिए मैं पहले तो आपको बता दूं कि पिछले 27 साल से जिस तरह से बीजेपी सिंगल हैंडेडली जो पार्टी को रूल कर रही है, उसके पीछे बहुत सारे रीजंस है. उनका जो विजन हमेशा रहा है पब्लिक को लेके, हमेशा हर इलेक्शन में आपने देखा होगा एक अलग सूत्रों के साथ उन्होंने ओपनिंग किया है और विकास हमेशा उनका मुख्य एजेंडा रहा है. ना सिर्फ एजेंडा रहा है लेकिन कामकाज भी उस हिसाब से हुए, और खासतौर पर जितने भी अर्बन एरियाज है, जो मेन बड़े सिटीज है, महानगर पालिका है, वहां बीजेपी का दबदबा हर चुनाव में रहा है. जिस तरह मैं आपको बताऊं कि ये पिछले 2 दशक में सिर्फ एक चुनाव ऐसा था जिसमें कांग्रेस का पलड़ा बाहरी था, मतलब वो जीत तो नहीं पाई लेकिन कह सकते हैं कि एक अच्छी फाइट की थी. वो था पिछला चुनाव, यानी 2017 का जो चुनाव था वो एक बड़ा रसाकसी वाला रहा था कांग्रेस और बीजेपी के बीच में. और हमने देखा था कि लगभग दोपहर को 12-1 बजे तक कांग्रेस आगे थी, लेकिन उसके बाद भी जीत नहीं पाई थी. लेकिन उस वक्त बहुत सारी चीजें थी, आंदोलन बहुत सारे हो रहे थे, कांग्रेस एक्टिव मोड पे थी, राहुल गांधी खुद एक्टिव थे, कांग्रेस की सेंट्रल लीडरशिप गुजरात में बहुत सारी सभाएं आयोजन कर रही थी. उसके अलावा एक रिस्पांस भी देखा जा रहा था युवाओं को लेकर जो आंदोलन था, हार्दिक पटेल, अल्पेश और उसके बाद ये जिग्नेश मेवाणी, ये सब लोग अगेंस्ट में थे. तो एक माहौल बना हुआ था. लेकिन इस बार की अगर जो बात की जाए तो इस बार हमें समझना रहा कि इनसे कोई भी नहीं है. मतलब हार्दिक पटेल जो मेन एक मुद्दा बना था पिछले पूरे इलेक्शन में, वो इस बार मुद्दा ही नहीं है क्योंकि उसने खुद बीजेपी ज्वाइन कर लिए. अल्पेश का भी ऐसा है, जिग्नेश मेवाणी बीजेपी में भले ना हो लेकिन वो इतना एक्टिव नहीं है, और कांग्रेस के पास खुद भी तो इतने बड़े मुद्दे नहीं है. आपको बता दूं कि ये जो मोरबी की घटना हुई उसके बाद कहीं ना कहीं ऐसी बातें सामने आ रही थी कि कहीं ना कहीं बड़ा डाउनफॉल, एक एटमॉस्फेयर देखने को मिलेगा. लेकिन पीएम मोदी वहां पे भी गए, उन परिवारजनों से मिले जिन्होंने अपने को गंवाया, सिविल हॉस्पिटल में मुलाकात की. तो कहीं ना कहीं एक मैसेज था.
Subrank Shah is also joining us. We can take this question with him further. Where is the Congress? Where is the opposition party, Subrank Shah, this time around? Last time they had a good chance. This time completely missing.
देखिए गौरी, 3 बड़ी बातें हैं. फर्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट ये है कि हम नोएडा या दिल्ली में बैठ के जो विज्ञापन वाली, चाहे वो बीजेपी या आम आदमी पार्टी की 100% विज्ञापन बेस्ड सरकार है, इसके ऊपर हम परसेप्शन न बनाए तो बेहतर होगा. क्योंकि अगर नरेंद्र मोदी जी गुजरात की जनता से वोट मांगने जाएंगे तो लोग पूछेंगे कि 150 से ज्यादा मौतों का जिम्मेदार कौन है. उसे हम और आप अपने टीवी चैनल में बैठ के बचाव नहीं कर सकते. इस घटना के लिए गुजरात मॉडल का कंप्लीट फेलियर रिस्पॉन्सिबल है, नंबर 1. नंबर 2, गुजरात एक व्यापारिक राज्य है. जो बार जो एमएसएमई सेक्टर की बात राहुल जी करते हैं कि 2-4 लोग तो अमीर होते हैं, इसके अलावा पूरा बिजनेस सेक्टर ही चौपट हो गया है. तो इसका सबसे बड़ा इंपैक्ट अगर कोई बीजेपी को डेंट मारेगा तो वो गुजरात ही मारेगा. तीसरी इंपॉर्टेंट बात, लोग इलेबोरेट जरूर 2017 कर रहे हैं लेकिन कम कर रहे हैं. एक सूरत रीजन को छोड़ दिया जाए तो 2:30 बजे तक हर स्टूडियो में बैठ के आलोक मेहता जी खुद बधाई दिया कर रहे थे कि गुजरात में कांग्रेस की सरकार बन रही है. क्योंकि सूरत आते ही और सूरत में क्या क्या हुआ था सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की पॉलिसी को दिखाकर कि वो रातों रात सर्टेन चीजें चेंज हुई. तीसरा. चौथा, अब हम बात कर रहे थे आम आदमी पार्टी की. तो आम आदमी पार्टी के पास पूरी दुनिया की समस्या का हल होता है जब तक वो अपोजिशन में होती है. गुजरात के लोग नहीं पूछेंगे कि जो आपके पास केमिकल सोल्यूशन था दिल्ली के लोगों के लिए, आज दिल्ली जहरीली हवा.
नहीं सुब्रांग शाह जी, हम आम आदमी पार्टी की तो बात कर ही नहीं रहे ना, आप कांग्रेस की बात करिए. मैं आम आदमी पार्टी, वो सवाल मैं आपसे बाद में पूछूंगी ना, आप अपना सवाल का जवाब दीजिए.
कंटेंडर तो वो है ना, सुनिए ना. अब मेरे लिए वो भी एक कंटेंडर है गुजरात में. जैसे आप स्टूडियो में बैठ के 15% उनको वोट दे रहे हो तो ही इज कंटेंडर फॉर मी. तो गुजरात के लोग पूछेंगे कि भैया जब तक आप पंजाब में सरकार में नहीं थे, दिल्ली की जहरीली हवा का सोल्यूशन आपके पास था. आज 2 करोड़ लोगों को दिल्ली के आपने जहरीली हवा में ढकेल दिया.
अगर मैं
आपके स्टूडियो में एक मिनट मैम प्लीज.
नहीं. अगर सवाल, if the question, Subrank Shah, is about Congress and its absence from there, you answer on that. When I talk to you about Aam Aadmi Party, we talk about Aam Aadmi Party.
गौरी जी,
हम दिल्ली पोल्यूशन की बात कर रहे हैं क्या?
सुनिए. आज इलेक्शन अनाउंस हुआ है वहां का, क्योंकि मोदी जी को जितने रिबन काटने थे वो काट गए.
लेकिन ये भी मेरे सवाल का जवाब नहीं है ना सुब्रांग शाह जी, ये मेरे सवाल का जवाब नहीं है. हम ये बात डिस्कस कर चुके हैं.
मैडम प्लीज, मैं कोई फिजिक्स का स्टूडेंट नहीं हूं ना कि आपके सवाल का यस नो में जवाब दूंगा।
अच्छा, आप दीजिए,
मैं बैकग्राउंड में
दीजिए
जवाब दूंगा।
Okay, my question is, why is the Congress missing? Where is the Congress? Now, please answer this question.
कांग्रेस गुजरात के लोगों के दिल में है। आप रिजल्ट देखिएगा, आपको दिखेगा। मैं यही तो बताने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं कि जिस आम आदमी पार्टी और बीजेपी को लेकर आप लीडिंग कर रहे हो बिकॉज ऑफ एड मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, वहां के लोग पूछेंगे कि दिल्ली की 2 करोड़ जनता को आपने जहरीली हवाओं में छोड़ दिया है, अब आप आकर यहाँ पे क्या प्रॉमिसेस करोगे। लेकिन एक अच्छी बात मैं बताता हूँ आपको, जो बाकी लोगों ने नहीं बताया। पिछले जो भी 2-3 चुनाव कांग्रेस हारी, जहां पे आम आदमी पार्टी 5% या 2.5% या 3% वोट लाती थी, और जो वोटिंग मार्जिन का गैप था 5-5.5% था, इधर गोवा इधर इंटू उत्तराखंड, वहां पे तो आम आदमी पार्टी ने डेंट जरूर मारा था कांग्रेस को, क्योंकि दोनों के वोट शेयर आप जोड़िए तो उतना ही होता था जितने से कांग्रेस हार जाती। बट इन टू वाइस वर्सा सिचुएशन दिस टाइम इन गुजरात, ये शायद आपके लोग थोड़ा कम बताएंगे, मैं बताता हूं बिकॉज मैं वहां थोड़ा वक्त बिता कर आया हूं। ग्रामीण क्षेत्र जितने गुजरात के हैं वहां कांग्रेस के सामने कोई नहीं टिकता, और शहरी क्षेत्रों का परसेंटेज पिछले 25 सालों में पिछले 6 चुनाव का 7%, 8%, 9% का गैप था कांग्रेस वर्सेस बीजेपी। उन सीटों पे बहुत हद तक मुझे लगता है कहीं वो भी खासकर सूरत रीजन को ही अगर मैं बात करूं तो वहां कुछ ना कुछ आम आदमी पार्टी डेंट मार रही है। तो वो डेंट जो है, इत्तेफाक की बात यह है कि इस बार बीजेपी को लग रहा है, और आप इंतजार करिए वो खुशनुमा दिन जो होगा जिस दिन हम इस विषय की चर्चा करेंगे 8 दिसंबर, उस दिन फिर आप स्टूडियो में मिठाई बांटेंगे और कहेंगे कि फाइनली देश एक साथ आ रहा है, लोगों को फिर से विकास की उम्मीद दिख रही है, इसलिए वो कांग्रेस को वोट दे रहे हैं, क्योंकि व्यापार खत्म, नौकरी खत्म, महंगाई आसमान पे चढ़ के बात कर रही है लोगों को।
Okay, Subransh, we've taken your point. Subransh, we've taken your point, and I'd like to go to another guest. This is Meenakshi from the studio, and I'd like to welcome all the guests. Let's go across to Alok Mehta. Alok Mehta, sir, I know you wanted to butt in there. I did see you raise your hand, as I did, of course, walk in the studio. Subransh Rai, at least to a certain extent, it does look like, after hearing him, that the Congress is at least accepting that the Aam Aadmi Party has started entering the space which the Congress has been ceding. Rightly said, 77 seats is what the Congress managed in 2017 polls. It was actually the closest, if one could say, the Congress came to, if not halting, but slowing down the Modi juggernaut. What really do you think, according to you, sir, has gone wrong for the Congress party?
Sorry, Shubhranshu is just behind you see from Congress party. Actually, we are mentioning about the political analyst, he is here. But and that's why I just wanted to mention first, because he mentioned my name. I never said the last time also that Congress is winning. Maybe there is some wrong impression or some miscalculation what he heard about it. Maybe it's okay. I'm not going to discuss this thing. But what the Congress party, because they do leadership, the what problem is Rahul Gandhi was elected since long. There is a leader, but I know Congress people, with all respect, since 73 I attended the Congress meeting when the Congress session was there in Gandhinagar. You can imagine since then Madhav Singh Solanki and all of the leaders, I used to be the Hitan Desai also. So this is the problem is Congress party, because with everywhere the problem in the Congress party, they are not, for the state leadership, they are not supporting. Rahul Gandhi, old people, he doesn't like the old people. For younger generation, he bring new people like last time also. So problem with the leadership in the highest level. And Gehlot,
sir,
they are troubling every day. Yeah.
Sir, since you speak, of course, of the time of Mr. Solanki, that time also the Congress at least had some sort of a caste combination. You look at, of course, the Dalits, they were with them, the tribal votes were with the Congress, and we've seen, from 71 onwards, that vote has started shifting, and there have been multiple chief ministers which have, of course, changed seats. It's only from 2002 when Narendra Modi came, he brought some stability to the state's political scenario. You rightly said that. But if you look at the last election, sir, let's look at the last 3 elections, frankly. Look at what happened in 2012 when, Modi juggernaut was at its peak. Even then, the Congress had a 40% vote share. That vote share, the Congress has been able to increase to about 42% if we see the 2017 assembly elections. But will the Congress be able to hold on to that vote share, or will the Aam Aadmi Party come into that space which the Congress seems to be ceding and occupy that space? Paramveer Singh, a political analyst with us. Paramveer Singh, the Aam Aadmi Party making a lot of buzz. Do you think they'll be able to translate that into seats? And I'm not speaking vote share, I'm speaking seats, because that's going to be a tough nut to crack for the AAP, despite of course, the vote share gain it saw in the municipal elections.
Meenakshi, I would like to just remind my fellow debaters that Gujarat is just not a state. Gujarat is just not a state. We have Mahatma Gandhi was from Gujarat, Sardar Patel was from the Gujarat, Mr. Narendra Modi too is from Gujarat. So, what I can't get the actual words what I should say about that. But people of Gujarat are very smart. They are the business community people. So if you think you can feed them with a solution, or you can feed them with any kind of pralobhan, जिसे बोलते हैं हिंदी में, you cannot give the people of Gujarat the pralobhan. I will be reading out this is Hindu akhbars, today's Hindu newspapers. These are the opinions. Hindu. I'm not quoting any other paper. I'm quoting the Hindu. Support for double engine government in Gujarat increased after 2017. Final support in 2022, 27% from it raised from 16 to 27%. So that means Gujaratis are comfortable with the Modi government. Gujaratis are comfortable with the double engine government. So how come? I don't know. Congress,
so you're saying the double engine government is going to work, that Modi magic, that appeal still remains. Archana Agnihotri is also representing the BJP. She's also with us. Archana Agnihotri, my very first question to you, as far as the Bharatiya Janata Party is concerned, yes, everyone's speaking of this double engine government, the Modi magic. We've seen maximum and a large number of rallies by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the run-up to the Gujarat polls, only likely to increase, as the campaign takes shape in the coming days. But is that enough? Because if you look at the 2017 polls, the Congress was able to give you a tough fight. As of now, there is no denying that the Congress is in disarray. The Aam Aadmi Party says that they will be able to enter that space and give a tough competition to the BJP. What do you say about that?
There is no competition in Gujarat for BJP. I can claim anything, anybody can claim anything. That is their own personal expectation, personal ambition. That is good for everybody. But let me tell you, BJP is working on the ground. BJP is there for each and everything. When the people need them, they are there. And people in Gujarat, they know it. They don't want to beg in front of anybody. They don't need charity. They don't approve of charity. They are hard-working people who don't want anything just for free. So this carrot of free ship is not going to work there. Another thing is, now their real face of Aam Aadmi Party has been visible when they are in Punjab. Earlier they used to claim that Punjab government is creating pollution. That's why Delhi is dying. Now in Punjab also they are there. And still Delhi is dying.
Okay. So you think this ideology-free welfareism model and the Delhi so-called model is not going to cut any ice with the voters? But what about the Bharatiya Janata Party? How confident are you, especially in the Saurashtra and Kutch region? Because that's the region where we saw in the last assembly polls, your party lose as many as, 14 seats?
You are asking about the South Gujarat?
Yes, ma'am, basically the Saurashtra and Kutch region, the rural Gujarat, Saurashtra region, if we speak of, that's the region where the Congress was able to make gains. How much they have been able to retain, we'll have to wait and watch.
It's going to be better this time. We are not only going to retain, but we are going to do better. This time you will see yourself, and everybody knows it. And even you know it, that is this. So we are not worried. The only thing is, the concept is, our philosophy is that the last person that you gets his benefit, gets his share, and that's what we are committed to.
Okay. Okay, I'll come back to you, and I want to ask you another question. One on the Morbi tragedy as well, and if it's going to have an impact. Stay with us, ma'am. Himanshu Bhatt, political analyst, also with us. Himanshu, since we are speaking of the 2017 polls and, sort of looking at it very closely, the Congress was able to make some very, very palpable gains. Look at the Saurashtra region, the Kutch region, massive gain for the Congress, the BJP losing as many as 11 seats. The Congress also doing its best, the best it's done in the last 35 years. But after that, it seems that the Congress lost the plot. I mean, they got, of course, the Patels together, they got the Pattidars, they got even that OBC-Dalit combination. But where is the, Hardik Patel? He's ditched the Congress, he's joined hands with the BJP. So much dissension, so much infighting within the Congress. Do you think that this is exactly what's going to benefit the BJP? Whether they beat anti-incumbency or not, end of the day, what option do people have?
Actually, they will beat anti-incumbency. People here have Tina factor, basically. I'll tell you one thing. And last time what they won was Patidars.
Yeah.
Okay. The gains, whichever were there in Saurashtra and Kutch region, 14 seats, I think, if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Those 14 seats, they had gained because of Patidar factors. And Alpesh and other people, These three musketeers, they were called at that time. And Patidar Anamat Andolan Samiti was at its peak, at that particular time. And that resulted into an additional vote share for Congress. And that, tilted these seats. Now here, this time around, Hardik is in BJP. Other Patidar leaders, Alpesh
yes.
and Dharmik, they have both joined up a few days ago. So now what's happening is, on ground, AAP does not have a presentable face here in Gujarat. Congress has many faces. The problem with Congress is it has so many faces that everyone wants to be a CM.
And also,
even in Surat City, I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
This will give you an idea. In Surat City, where every political party has one president of a party, Congress has 4. Why so? Because everyone wants to be a president. Now, this is what is seen everywhere. And why is it that Rahul Gandhi or the top leadership of Congress, but for Mr. Gehlot, has come to Gujarat this time?
Yeah. And it also looks like that the Congress has made its, internal presidential poll its priority. Rahul Gandhi's Bharat Yatra, as my colleague and you all were also discussing earlier, is not even touching Gujarat. And also, if you look at, who's going to be like the so-called face of the Congress party, who's going to campaign, if it's Mr. Gehlot, he has got so much headache in his own state. One doubts how much we'll be able to concentrate on Gujarat. That's a fair point which you raise. But, if we could bring in once again Joyita Basu also into the conversation. Joyita, you've been listening very, very patiently, to all the analysts really. Speaking of the Aam Aadmi Party, it created a lot of buzz. Many say that it may not be able to translate that into seats. But when we speak of vote share, do you think that the Aam Aadmi Party will end of the day turn out to be a bigger headache for the Congress party than for the BJP? Even in the last polls, the Congress, even if you look at nationally, the Congress managed to keep that 20% vote share, the so-called, pakka Congressy vote share, people who just go and vote for the Congress. But looking at what happened in the municipal polls of Gujarat, complete decimation. Aam Aadmi parties, I think the last panelist mentioned Surat did very well in Surat municipal polls, 13% or 14% was their vote share in municipal polls. That's a good gain. You have, of course, Alpesh, who's with the Aam Aadmi Party. It does look like that the Congress really is nowhere. Aam Aadmi Party, do you think is going to be a bigger headache for the Congress or the BJP? What's your analysis, Joyita?
Well, Meenakshi, Aam Aadmi Party is definitely present there in the newsrooms of Delhi media, but I am not so certain about its presence on the ground. Because even if you're what you're calling that Surat a great performance, but the fact of the matter is that I think BJP won about 126 and Aam Aadmi Party won around 13 votes.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a huge performance, because ultimately what counts is the number of seats that you get. But yes, when it comes to this, I think a large part of the cutting of the vote will be happening from Congress. And this is what I was speaking of in the earlier segment. What had happened is that in the last election, some of the seats were very closely fought, even in the urban areas around Ahmedabad and all that. Certain seats were very closely fought, but at that time, Congress was very much a presence in Gujarat. I don't see that kind of presence there. And this was at the height of the Patidar agitation, because Alpesh Thakur was attracting huge crowds at that time. Hardik Patel was there, he was a presence over there. BJP has been able to neutralize the Hardik factor at least. I'm not so certain about what is going on with Alpesh, because considering his entry to Aam Aadmi Party is very recent. And they have been to a large extent been able to neutralize the Patidar anger. And there were many incidents at that time that had taken place. You know, Patidar youth had been beaten up by Gujarat police and all. There were videos circulating at that time about this beating up and all that. They were unhappy with certain people in Delhi also. So all these factors built up into major anger. But the thing is, you see, since you are specifically talking about Aam Aadmi Party, I think the difference between the voters in general in Delhi, I'm talking about the mass, and I would say the voters in Gujarat in mass, they are not looking for freebies in Gujarat. You know, that is something that is kind of gives Aam Aadmi Party a big edge, because there is a certain demography that will vote for freebies. Okay, I don't think that really works in Gujarat. So I think that is one factor that is going to nullify Aam Aadmi Party, whatever edge it may be claiming to be having, number one. And number two, the Modi factor. Or rather, number one is the Modi factor. From number 1 to number 10, it's the Modi factor.
Yeah.
I mean, if he goes, and I remember, as I mentioned, I was there in 2017. I had gone to Gujarat. And it was, of course, I came back before the final phase. But the fact of the matter is that there was so much anti-incumbency at that time. The election was so tight. And it was Mr. Modi who single-handedly swung it for BJP. I mean, even then, BJP, there was a strong possibility of BJP losing, because even voters of BJP, the Patidar community, were saying, we are going to vote for Narendra Modi in the Lok Sabha elections, but we are not going to vote for BJP in the 2017 assembly elections. But Mr. Modi did it. He just stood there and he swung the vote. And I think he has already started doing it. You know, the kind of presence is, he is there. So I don't see the Congress winning this election, and I don't see AAP. And even if AAP does, Congress is of course complaining that AAP is BJP's B team. That conversation is also going on in Congress circles.
Okay.
I don't know about that, but the fact of the matter is that I don't see AAP making much of an impact on the ground.
Okay, you say you don't see AAP making much of an impact on the ground. We'll have to wait and watch, you know, if these headlines, if all the buzz around Aam Aadmi Party, all the talk around them does translate into seats or not. End of the day, will the Aam Aadmi Party end up cutting the vote share of the Congress? That's going to be the big question, which of course the Congress also is looking at. The Congress literally missing from action. Very, very strange that Rahul Gandhi choosing not even to enter Gujarat at a time when he's spending about 19 days in Kerala, which is not even a poll-bound state. Far as BJP is concerned, will the Morbi tragedy have any impact on the upcoming polls? Will this Modi-Shah combine and the Modi magic once again be able to beat anti-incumbency for the BJP, which has changed about 3 chief ministers in the last terms, which it has had after Prime Minister Modi, or rather Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister of the country? Many questions remain. I guess we'll only know the answer when the ballot box opens.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.